We are back this week talking about some things to prepare us for the holiday season that is just right around the corner. But before we get started, we'll just introduce ourselves for those of you who don't know who we are. My name is Jessica Melnick. I am the founder of the Anti-Arthritis Method, the host of the Happy Joints Arthritis Solutions Group. I am a registered holistic nutritionist, and I help both women and men with various forms of arthritis get back to living life the way that they choose to, not the way that they have to. I'll pass it on to you, Casey.
Yep, I am Casey Kephart. I'm a functional medicine nutritionist, the founder of the Feel Good Formula, and I help women with all different types of autoimmune diseases to get you back to the activities you love to do, trash your symptoms, get your life back, basically. And I reside in St. Petersburg, Florida.
Amazing. All right. So I promised that we would be talking about holidays because I know that the holidays can be a really hectic time for a lot of us. And also, it can be a time where we really stray from our health routines and our healthy habits. And it can really take a toll. It can really make us feel pretty crappy after a few weeks because I don't know about you guys, but here the holiday season really extends itself. We already have Christmas decorations up in our city. If you go shopping, Christmas stuff is everywhere. It's pretty much right after Halloween. I feel like it just starts
Mm-hmm.
all of a sudden it's like, oh my goodness, it's Christmas and Christmas parties are starting and gatherings and all the stuff. I've started my Christmas baking. So what we really wanted to talk to you guys today about is how can you stay closer to your health routines while still enjoying the holiday season so that you don't feel terrible and need a vacation after the holiday season is over.
Mm-hmm.
So, like I said, I know US Thanksgiving is around the corner. In Canada, we have ours in early October, but that doesn't mean that, like I said, we're already preparing for Christmas. There's already parties that have started, and
Mm-hmm.
we just want to stay on track so that we don't feel terrible at the end of it all. So, one thing I know, Casey, I'll let you touch on in terms of eating healthy and sticking to a routine. For those people like yourself, Casey, who have celiac disease or who have gluten sensitivities, which is pretty much everybody who is dealing with an autoimmune condition, gluten can put you back 3 months. So, can you tell us a little bit more about that?
Yeah, so what we mean is if you are gluten-free, 100% strict, you've worked to one, remove gluten from your diet, two, to heal that gut lining and reduce the inflammation, right? So let's say you eat gluten accidentally or on purpose, we're not judging here. It's going to cause a very wide increased spike in your inflammation in your body, and it's going to poke holes in the gut system. And research has said that it puts you back 3 months of your healing process. So wherever you were 3 months ago is where you're kind of going to go back to. And that doesn't mean that you're going to feel like shit for 3 months. That just means that your gut is going to be um, repairing again like it was 3 months earlier. So it's not really worth it to eat a glutinous cookie or that stuffing that we all really like. What I would recommend is, and we'll get into this more, but just making your own versions of stuffing or of your cookies or of anything that has gluten in it. They taste just the same, maybe better if you have a good recipe. It's not worth it at all.
Yeah, absolutely. And like I had mentioned before, is that your mood and your energy can really, really take a nosedive when we are like consistently eating things that we know aren't good for us, things that are
Mm-hmm.
inflammatory, whether, you need to be gluten free and you're eating gluten or you're eating a lot of sugar, all the different things that can be out on those holiday tables this time of year, all the treats that are going around the office. So it can really, really affect our mood, our energy level. And I don't know about you guys, but I really want to enjoy this season because it's, it's about the gatherings and the socializing. And I need energy for that. And there's a lot of activities I like to do. And I don't want to feel terrible when I'm enjoying my activities or trying to enjoy them. So sorry, go ahead, Casey.
I was just to say, isn't that the truth though? Because we were just talking about before we got on live here about chocolate and how I have a sensitivity towards chocolate. It's not a gut thing. It's just, I feel like a truck hit me, and I'm irritable. My mood sucks. I have fatigue, and if we do that over and over and over again, especially on the holidays, we don't get to enjoy our holidays as much because we are so hyper focused on how we're feeling and when we can go to bed. And then we get irritable. I know I do. And I get irritable at literally everybody in the room with me. And that's just not fun. Like, why would you want to put yourself through that when it could be something more special? And so thinking about making your health a priority this season so you can enjoy it more will be important. Keep on, Jessica.
Yeah, and we're not saying, don't eat any of the foods that you love. There's a varying degree of things that you can do, and baby steps to larger steps and everything in between that's going to benefit you. So, for example, like maybe if you are used to baking holiday cookies and eating half a dozen of them, every time that you make a new batch, maybe scale it back to 3 and see the difference in how you feel. There's lots of ways that you can adjust things so that you can keep your energy levels up and, feel good for the holiday season. So we're going to give you some examples of things that we do, and that some of the things that our clients do as well. So instead of having an entire bottle of wine at Thanksgiving, maybe have a couple glasses instead. Your body's going to thank you. You're not going to be hungover the next morning. It's going to make a huge difference in how you feel. So we're not saying, like I said, don't have any of the food or drinks that you enjoy. Maybe just cut back on the ones that you know are really going to have an impact on how you feel. I know for me, like heavy carb laden dishes, which are delicious, I have to be careful how much I have because they literally make me want to take a nap.
Yeah.
So I know for myself, if I am not going to bed an hour after dinner, I need to eat accordingly so that I can enjoy myself and have energy to stay up and visit.
Yeah, I get irritable with really high carbohydrate meals and days as well. My body just doesn't like a lot of carbs at all. Another thing revolving around the bottle of wine or the alcohol is sometimes I like to start with club soda because it makes me feel like I'm drinking for some reason. The bubblies kind of get to me, not drunk wise, but just like it just makes me feel like I'm sipping on something alcoholic. And that helps me prolong me drinking, but it also may inhibit me from drinking or drinking as much as I would as if I would have started with a Prosecco or a vodka soda instead. So you can always intermittent do that too. Start with a club soda, then go to your Prosecco, do another club soda. And it kind of just makes you feel like you're drinking 100% of the time, but instead we're halving it. So that's a good moderation buffer as well.
Yeah, that's a great idea.
Mm-hmm.
Another big one, and I know this is something that I use myself a lot, and I know my clients do, is shifting our mentality about what we consider normal or what we consider enjoyable. So just because it's something we've always done, or it's something we've always eaten, or we've always had 20 cocktails at Thanksgiving, just because it's something that we've traditionally done or have done for a long time doesn't mean that you can't shift that. And that doesn't mean that you can't adjust it. Our bodies are always shifting and changing, and what our bodies need and don't like also is constantly changing. So rethinking that whole idea of what is, I'm going to say quotation, normal is really key, because sometimes what we consider normal or what we're used to, it's just not serving us anymore. And so you get to decide what normal is. And if somebody has a problem with your new normal, it truly is their problem, not yours.
Yeah, I agree. And I actually had this come up the other night for me too. I had a friend in town and another friend joined us for dinner who doesn't really come out with me so much. And I did my normal thing. I asked the waiter about the gluten, what has gluten in it. Side note, he was very unknowledgeable and I wanted to throat punch him about it. But I got my gluten-free meal and my friend and my other friend kind of gave me some shit about it. And I didn't even like think about what I was eating, that it wasn't normal to somebody else because it's my normal to eat gluten-free, to not have a bun with my burger, to opt out from the french fries that are breaded to like the coleslaw instead. It's just something that is normal for me. And those other people, it's not normal for them. And they decided that they wanted to have a word about it. And so those kind of people probably aren't the people that, one, I want to be hanging around 100% of my time. But two, that maybe you should not be hanging around either if they are not open to understanding your needs or they always feel the need to comment on it. So decide what your normal is or your new normal and stick to whatever makes you happy, not what other people are going to think.
Absolutely. And when it comes to ordering modifications in a restaurant, if you're polite and specific about what you need, I've never had serving staff be annoyed or angry with me.
Oh,
If
you're
they
lucky.
Yeah, but you know what? And it's if that's the maybe you'd rethink eating there again. You know what I mean? It's kind of like
Yeah,
it's not your problem. You need what you need, and I think if
exactly.
you're kind and pleasant about it, most people are really receptive about that. And if it's a restaurant who literally just can't make modifications, then yeah, I just wouldn't go there again.
What's funny is I was going to call the manager too, and I was going to be like, "Hi, I'm a nutritionist who works with food allergies. Can you hire me to educate your staff about gluten, please? Because this is ridiculous." He said to me, and I'm getting on a tangent, and I'll stop after this. He said to me, "I'm not really knowledgeable about gluten, so I don't know." Like,
You're
oh,
like, my point exactly.
exactly. Thanks for being honest. Now, can you go ask the chef? He never went and asked the chef. He just said it has gluten in it, just to be safe.
Oh
Oh, you're an
gosh.
asshole.
Yeah.
Okay, let's
Like,
keep going.
no thanks. I just won't go there again. No, I love a tangent because it's real life, right? This is stuff that we deal with on a
Yes,
regular basis. And
it
it's
is.
about, I think, like adjusting and honoring what it is that we need and what's good for us. So,
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
yes. And that I think goes into the whole allowing yourself to make limitations and setting boundaries. So saying no sometimes. Like this one isn't as food related. It can be food related because it definitely can come up where you have to set boundaries with friends if they have a problem with like what you need to eat or not drink. Is saying no to certain things. Oh
Yeah.
my goodness. I used to go to different events, whether it was like a Christmas party or sometimes those weddings I was invited to, like I didn't even barely know the people and I
Yeah.
didn't want to go. And it was just like, ugh, and like forcing myself to go. And I realized at
Mm-hmm.
that point, I'm like, if the only thing I'm looking forward to at this event is eating and drinking, and it's
Yeah.
usually stuff that is not going to be good for me because that's the only thing I'm looking forward to going like to doing when I'm there. Why am I going? Like,
Yeah.
why do we make ourselves do things that we hate or that
Mm-hmm.
we really just don't want to do that make us miserable and resentful and wishing that we were anywhere else but. And it's
Yeah.
okay. It does not make you a bad person to politely decline an invitation to something that you really don't want to do. And if you don't want to say no immediately to that person's face, if they're asking you in person, you can just politely say, "Oh, thank you so much for the invitation. I will have to get back to you on that.
Mm-hmm.
You." You know,
Yeah.
like, and yeah, I'm so sick of, especially, I feel like it's more of a woman thing that like women are getting shit on for saying no to doing
Yeah.
certain things. It doesn't make you a bag if you don't want to do something. Like,
I love that phrase.
go
So
for it.
That's so great. I completely agree, and I feel like that's a mic drop in general. Also been questioning myself on why I say yes to certain things when I don't want to do it. Am I scared of the feedback if I say no? Sometimes. Am I just doing it so I have plans? Well, that's stupid. I can find other plans. It's almost like habitual to say yes, right? Um, so I've been trying to really question myself on why I'm doing that as well. And not feeling guilty for saying no, because I think, like you said, a lot of women, we do feel guilty for not being able to be Wonder Woman, like society kind of puts us in that where we should be as a woman.
And guess what? If you say no to something that you feel like you should go to, and you instead stay home and just watch your favorite show on Netflix,
Who the fuck cares?
hey, that's okay.
Yep.
I think we're both getting on the tangent. People telling us what to do and like the shoulds and the people pleasing. So yes, and the tangent. We did do a live on people pleasing the other week. So check that out because we really get into some of the psychology behind people pleasing and what that's all about and what you can do about it. Because I feel like it's such an epidemic with women in general, and it's not healthy for us physically or mentally. And it's okay to say no. It's okay to set boundaries. And we are not responsible for other people's feelings. So
you said it well. And I think we are both a little sensitive about this subject right now because I've been hosting a couple people lately the past couple weeks. And I know you've been doing family things and sister things and all of the things too. So saying no is something that Jessica and I both really try to balance out and think about 100%, and just not feeling guilty for watching TV. we say that to ourselves all the time. Stop feeling guilty for doing this.
Yes, it's important to take care of yourself. And if watching a reality show is something that you do that brings you joy, then enjoy it and feel grateful that you were able to do that. Don't feel guilty about it. Like we all need to do things like that to take care of ourselves. It's super important.
And I realized that we're doing these things to fill our cup and self-care, but it's not filling our cup if we're feeling guilty about it. So you're sort of like just wasting time feeling guilty, not filling your cup while you think you're doing self-care, if that makes any sense. Right. Cut the guilt, do what you want to do, and then do your priorities when you feel up to it. I know it's not as cut and dry as that, and I'm not trying to make it sound like that, but saying no, having boundaries, moderation, all of the things that go into the holiday planning even more, because your arms are going to be stretched so many different ways.
Exactly.
But moving down the list, this is one of my favorite things to talk on is bring your own food that you can have. Being celiac disease or having celiac disease, I need to do this wherever I go. I need to make sure that if I'm planning on not bringing any food, that I have already eaten so that I don't show up hungry and decide to just pick off some meat out of a sandwich that has bread on it and then accidentally eat the bread. I know myself. So what I do for holiday parties is I usually don't have anything going on Thanksgiving or Christmas, but I do my own like Friendsgiving that I host or a holiday party that I host with my friends. And I make sure that I make my gluten-free stuff or side dishes or a ham that is gluten-free, so that I know I can eat for my holiday party. I can eat the food that I have there, and then everybody else brings a dish, and that way they can put gluten in their dish and not have to worry about making it gluten-free for me and if I'm going to eat or not. So I'm preparing for a successful outcome there. But if it was somebody else's party, I would definitely bring a side dish that is gluten-free. So I do know that I can eat that. And then if I know the person and that they always have yummy glutinous treats and sauces that have gluten in it, I'll make sure to eat a little bit beforehand too, so I don't come starving. I'll bring a club soda for myself as well to do that little trick that I do. I pre-plan and I come prepared just to set me off on the right foot, and so I don't regret everything the next day, because that is just an awful feeling.
Yeah.
So I would highly, highly encourage you, if you do have food sensitivities, whether that be gluten, dairy, corn, whatever, bring your own dish that you know you can have. Call up the host and see kind of what dishes are that they're making, to set yourself up for success.
Yeah, absolutely. And I think it all goes into, and I don't know, I think a lot of times people don't even think about this. Our health and our food and what we eat should be a priority, like
Mhm.
I don't know about you. Oh, I know about you, Casey, but other people in general, our health is really important because if you don't have your health, then it really limits your life in so many ways. And
The
so
quality of it.
absolutely. So to make food and like what you eat and like what makes you feel good a priority, I think is it's so important. And like you said, like planning ahead, making sure that there's food that you can eat and you want to enjoy it too. So like for
Yeah.
example, I started my Christmas baking. There's plenty of paleo and AIP things that I'm baking and making ahead of time so that I know that I can have something that I really enjoy that's a yummy treat for me that's not going to make me feel terrible after I eat it.
Mhm.
So, and that's a priority to me. My food is a priority because I love eating, and I think a lot of us do. It's one of the greatest pleasures in life. But I also need to feel good so that I can do what I need to do on a daily basis.
Yeah.
And it's a priority for me. So if food is not a priority for you, maybe just reconsider. Like, how does food affect you? And how can you incorporate that into your life and make that more of a priority so that you can feel better?
Yeah. I want to take that one step farther and just say, if you're not making your food and your health a priority, you're not making yourself a priority. And that's, I think, the deepest part of it is that you need to make you a priority. And how you do that is through your health. And how you do that through your health is through your food. So it all starts with your food and your lifestyle to make you a priority.
That's
Um, so I know we're getting at time, but overall, what we're trying to say here is, fail to plan, plan to fail. Start thinking about how you want to show up to your holiday events, how you want to, make boundaries or what boundaries you want to make, and start being mindful of how you're feeling right now in this moment. If you're already drained, you might want to limit the amount of calendar, events you have or the hosting events you have. And you might need to call in support and help from your spouse or your kids or your friends or the hosting event person. So start to just think about that and plan ahead, and, don't just show up without any sort of game plan here. It's going to backfire.
absolutely. So, what we'd really love for you guys to do is comment below this video. Let us know, what is your big holiday challenge?
Mm-hmm.
We'd love to hear your feedback. We'd love to talk it out with you. So let us know, do you have a big holiday challenge that's coming up that you can relate to from our discussion today? And we'll be back again on Thursday talking more about how to keep yourself sane during the holiday
Mm-hmm.
season, how to take care of yourself.
Yep.
So
Awesome.
have a wonderful rest of your day, everyone, and we'll see you again soon.
Bye, everybody.